Salute to you for joining me. I appreciate you here on Rastas Realities, where the real is raw and the truth is the law. Perceptions, to and fro. As you can see by the title there of this one. I am one to push for the highest of standards, of which starts with perception of self. We are also judged based on how we look, smell, speak, and move. We all have heard the saying of don't judge a book by its cover. There's truth in it, if not fully true. As stated in the recent video, Conversational Versatility, I mentioned doing exactly what the saying is and gives examples of both sides of that particular coin. My perceptions and thoughts of it were like the stock market graph, up and down, before I realized that it must remain at a steady pace and level. And this was early on when I was unaware of what perceptions were and how important that they were. Perceptions are not excuses to harm or kill another. As seen on screen, the brother looks to be unemployed, but has a job. Now, I am not saying that if a person looks like they are about to rob or kill you, that you should ignore clear and concise tales, but absolutely do not judge just on looks. Here's an example. I can count on my fingers and toes how many times that some person of the male sorts looked crazy at me while clutching their purse, and or the all too obvious watching the peripheral as they walk past you or as you walk past them. And this was when I was in business attire. That's right, a whole suit and tie. I could go on forever with examples of perceiving and being quite wrong. I will only note a couple more. It is always refreshing to blow the minds of others with logical, intelligent, and useful conversations with them, as they admit during the conversation that they looked at me a certain way until I began to speak. That was judging a book by the cover of ebony or copper-colored skin. We all know the game about that. Despite all of the logical and the intelligent conversations, knowledge, and any other tangibles that Ebony Man has, he still will be a NIGGER. If not to that particular person, their families and friends. Now, with that said, there's a video of Ahmaud Arbery being approached by an officer. Ahmaud immediately complies, as so many ebony folk do, all to be treated guilty before the assumption of innocence. Now, this is where perceptions come into play. He's clearly unarmed, as his pants are hanging off his ass, showing his shorts as shown in the picture before you. Yet the officer begins to touch all over him, talking about a search. Also, when the officer inquires as to why Mr. Aubrey is there, as if he needed a reason to be, Mr. Aubrey states, "I'm rapping in the park," quote unquote. Now, while he is saying that, in the background you can hear instrumentals that are playing in the vehicle. Meaning a song without words, just an instrumental. The officer has Mr. Aubrey's info. Checks it with nothing found to my knowledge. Though I did think I thought I heard a warrant, but I digress. It might have been an old warrant. Understandably, Mr. Aubrey becomes irritated at the fact that the officer is not interested in clearing Mr. Aubrey. He wants a reason to further agitate him, so he, the officer, can level up the mistreatment of Brother Aubrey. The officer did nothing to defuse the situation, as good officers that I do know would have done, contingent on this suspect's behavior. In lay terms, if I'm an officer and I approach you, and the first things out of your mouth is motherfucker shit this, and I'm fidgeting, I'm jumping, chances are something's up with this person. That is a common sense thing. Now, I find this whole situation with Ahmaud Arbery very disturbing, as the narrative that Mr. Arbery was a menace and needed to be taken down via death, of which ultimately happened by the hands of 3 or more fake vigilantes. See, this is why I speak about the network television, because their evil intentions are being broadcast. And most viewers refuse to believe that what I and so many others tell them about the media, voting, and religion, that it is not a conspiracy theory. Okay? It is not a conspiracy if it's really happening. Now, before the ones who believe in one or more of those mentioned gets their pennies in a bunch, fact is, voting, the media, hasn't stopped or even slowed down the lynchings publicly of black or ebony people. In fact, it has emboldened cowards who sit with their groups drinking and with every other word out of their mouth, nigger this, etc. Religion, pray and it will go away. Right. How's that working out for us? Everything mentioned is related to perceptions. Perceptions can be a boon or detrimental to anyone or thing. No one deserves to die, get harassed because of how they look. No bums, no blacks, no one. Looking guilty seems to be synonymous with ebony or copper skin. Enough is enough. Side note, Sean Reed did participate in some unruly and dangerous behavior of driving and shooting a firearm out of the window. It doesn't matter how old the footage is. It only matters that was wrong on so many levels. Accountability, people. Accountability, not excuses. Rasta does not condone said behavior, as it is destructive to all involved, including himself. Did he deserve to die by gunshots by cops? Well, that's not for me to decide or even discuss. Which is why I'm only discussing, yes, he was wrong, driving and shooting, extremely reckless. But to be killed after running, I'm going to stay away from that one. I only address problems and solutions as it pertains to myself and my ethnicity. Doesn't matter who you are, if you're engaged in fuckery, no matter who you be, as there's too much you see, I'ma speak on it on Rasta's Realities. Salute for you joining me. My appreciation humbly. We're making strides. Subscribe if you like. I drop content that's fair, and that's why my watchers share. I am Rasta Akil Bomani. Only we can create a better atmosphere. Peace to you.